Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm here with Jacob and he has a Chevy Traverse to show us.
Okay, what is up guys? This is a 2015 Chevy Traverse LTZ. As you guys can see, it's this red paint. If you get the shine on the paint, it kind of has a lot of swirl marks, but it's a pretty good paint color here. So like I said, it's the 2015 LTZ model of the Traverse. And so we'll do a quick walk around. We'll start on this side here, on the driver's side here, and as you guys can see, this thing has long running boards. I don't know, I think this doesn't come on the LT and LS trims. Those are the two lower trims of this model, but I know these wheels you only get on the LTZ. These are 20-inch alloy wheels. They look pretty good. They're not super clean right now, but they're pretty shiny. And you get this chrome trim here, you get the chrome door handles, and then you move around the back here. And this, I know you don't get on the LT or the LS, is you get the tips here. So you get, these are real tips. Actually, they look pretty good, to be honest, for a car, especially that isn't like a performance car. So yeah, you get this lower, different valence. You get this chrome here. I think this might be chrome on the other ones, not sure though. I just took it through a car wash, that's why it's wet. But as you guys can see, it's LTZ, and this thing has all-wheel drive, but it is a transverse front biased setup. But this is the plate here that covers the hitch here, and there's a trailer hookup, like a trailer connector for lights and stuff, and then also a hitch built in to the frame. And this one has the tow package, and with the tow package, the LTZ has a 5,200 pound towing capacity. I think without it, it's at only 2,000 pounds. So I don't know what the tow package exactly, probably just reinforce the frame and better hitch and stuff. But now you guys can see this side in the sun. It's a pretty good looking car as far as all the chrome and stuff. But it's definitely not super tall, especially for a 7-seater SUV. I'm actually taller than the car. Expedition or like a Suburban and something is like super tall. It's not super jacked up, but it's got the big wheels. And we can move around the front real quick just to show the front. I think you get this chrome grille with LTZ, get the lower part, and you get this front valence down lower, and these fog light trim is chrome. So outside of the car is pretty good, but really for the LTZ, what matters and what you're gonna be doing mostly is on the inside. So we'll get to the interior real quick. So I'll come around. This thing doesn't have like, I don't know what it's called, but like doesn't have the unlocking feature where you just approach it with the keys or anything. Just an old-fashioned key here. And as you guys can see, it's this saddle brown interior color, and you get these little like I don't even know what that's called, but the door trim, what's that called? But as you guys can see, we'll sit inside. Do you want to go around the other side real quick? Okay guys, so now that Cameron's in the car, I'll show you guys right now. I just took off my sunglasses, and this is actually, there's a storage up here on the dash. It's pretty nice. It's we put our sunglasses up here. It's pretty big actually. We have like 4 things of sunglasses. There's some hand sanitizer up there, quite a bit. But as you guys can see, this interior is pretty nice. Shut the door real quick. You get a little bit of the leather over here, but this I think is like a plastic that's just colored the same as the seats. Here, as you guys can see, there's like a cloth material on the side of the seats. This is my mom's like garbage bag that she made and put in here, but this is the shifter here, pretty standard automatic shifter. This thing actually does have manual mode, but I'll show them real quick, but it's not like clicking it back and forth. It's just this little button here. It's kind of odd, the plus and minus button, very odd for the 6-speed automatic in this car. Steering wheel is pretty nice and big. It's pretty thin as well. As you guys can see, there's a heated steering wheel button. That's a really nice feature. These are all cruise control settings, and these are like audio infotainment settings. The infotainment is pretty good. I'll turn it on real quick. It is a 2015 model, so it's not like super new, and it does lag a little bit, but it's actually pretty good. You guys can see, I looked at this like My Link thing. And if you go to like home here, let's make it, oh, yeah, it's kind of slow. There we go. Oh, we don't have to radio. But yeah, no, let me go to source. As you guys can see, it's kind of dumb. Let me try this from the car. So maybe if you don't have the car on, it doesn't work, but let's go source that. And the infotainment is bugging. You have to have it on. Let me turn the volume down.
Yeah, 4.
So I don't get the. So if you go back, as you guys can see, it does work, but it's kind of laggy. You get the Sirius XM disc. Sorry that noise is playing, but you get all these options. You can hook up your phone. I think my phone's hooked up, and you get like weather. This thing actually has GPS. I think let's go to traffic. Oh, you have to Sirius XM for that apparently. But the infotainment's pretty good. It plays music pretty good. This thing has a Bose sound system. I think that's only LTZ. I don't know, you probably can upgrade to that in other ones, but it's pretty good. You get this wood kind of grain plastic. I think it's fake wood. And you get a little bit on the door trims, and you get these pretty nice armrests on the doors actually. It's pretty wide. The driver door doesn't have this big handle, whereas the passenger one does, as you guys can see. Everything's pretty nice in here. You get this nice big center console. This is probably my favorite part. As you guys can see, you open, super nice, soft close and everything. That part goes back and forth when you pull that. Didn't I see if I can open it? I don't think it opens more actually, but it's pretty good. There's this slide down here where all this stuff, this is my mom's car, so she has all her stuff in here. This is really nice. I really do actually like this whole center console setup. The cup holders in the right spot, they don't get in the way of your arm when you're shifting. And then we'll get down to all the AC. These controls are really nice. I like that it just shows the temperature on here, and it's not like in the touchscreen or anything. But AC really kicks ass in this car, and the heat really works well. And then you get these cooled seats, that's cooling, and then you have 3 different settings. Oh, that was heated, but these are cooling. And then you get 3, and it's like ventilated, and it blows in the seat. So that's actually really nice in the summer. It doesn't like totally make you not sweat, but it definitely helps. If you have the AC on and that, you'll be pretty comfortable. And then this thing doesn't have adaptive cruise control, but it does have like distance. I'm gonna say it has like distance control or radar cruise control, kind of, where it'll keep your distance behind another car, but it works pretty well. I know the cruise control is pretty good. And we'll move to the back seats. Overall, the front seats are pretty good, and there's lots of storage. There's side in the doors. You guys can see there's door storage down there. And we'll move to the back real quick. Okay guys, now we're in the back seat here. As you guys can see, I was just sitting behind myself in the driver's seat comfortably at 6'2", and I actually sit in the back seat in these captain chairs. Pretty good. These seats are also the leather, the third row seats as well. We'll fold those up and show you guys in a minute. But these are pretty comfortable seats, but they're very upright. They are adjustable. There's a weird like lock down here that you kind of pull on, and you kind of slide forward, back, and then you can also, there's another drawstring down here or something. There's a string on the side of the seat where you can lean it forward or lean it back, and that's how you also collapse them, by the way, with the string, and then they fold flat down, so you get a full flat load floor. But we'll show you guys the rear thing. So you actually have full control of, you can change the music and stuff. You get like source control and everything back here. Or no, this is actually the controls for the TV up here. As you guys can see, there's a little Panasonic DVD player. You have to load the DVD up there in the front if you guys want to watch DVD. But you can hook up like AV plug, which is kind of odd that there's not new enough to have like an HDMI port, but you get a 12 volt DC, and then you get an AC 120 plug, and then you actually get 2 USB ports. So there's tons of charging ports back here, which is actually really nice. This I've used to like charge my laptop while I'm back here or whatever. And then these work good. They charge your phone very fast. So I really do like the rear seat controls here. And then you get some rear seat climate vents up here. And then as far as up here, you also get these lights on either side. And then you, most importantly, have a rear sunroof as well. And this is just like the front. We didn't show it, but where there's not actually a full panel that'll block out all the light. This is just the shade, and that's it. You can't open this one. You can open the front sunroof. It's pretty cool having the rear sunroof. This is the only car I've ever been in that has this. I know lots of new cars have like huge moonroofs and stuff, but as far as these seats though, the floor is pretty high, and that's kind of due to, I guess, the fact that the ride height on this thing isn't super tall. So like in like in a rear-wheel drive like truck, you might have like the whole kind of drivetrain is below the frame and it's like lifted up, and then you get a little bit more maybe leg room up back here. So the floor is kind of high, but you can definitely sit behind yourself if you're tall in the front and back seat, which is really nice. And there's tons of room back here. You get these armrests, and overall the back seat is really nice place to be, I would say. And the doors are plenty big enough to get in and out. It's not hard to get in and out. And you get these running boards, which are kind of odd because this thing is not very high off the ground. So the running boards are kind of like just there for looks almost. And this is the remote for the TV, by the way. You get a full remote. And you get these backseat storages. And there's actually not any cup holders except for in the door. But there's a door cup holder up here. So there's technically 4 in the back seat. 1 and 2. So pretty good. No like middle seat cup holder or anything. So we're gonna show you guys the third row next. Okay, now I'm in the third row, and as you guys can see, this is just the 2 seats. It's 2 and a 1 seat that fold up, but Cameron's still in his seat, so it's pretty cramped back here. My seat was sitting at the good distance back from me, so I was comfortable there. So if you had 3 rows of full-size adults, they probably wouldn't fit. But really, the only people that are probably going to be sitting back here are kids, and I do technically fit in here, but my knees are totally touching the back seat. That's with this pretty far back though. You do get cup holders and little storage trays, and there's speakers back here, and then there's also more climate vents, 1 each, and you get these fog lights or the reading lamps, whatever you want to call them, and some hooks for clothes. They pop open, close. So back seat is the third row. It's pretty small, but this is kind of comparable to something like a Ford Explorer, where it's kind of like almost a cheater third row, where it's like it fits and it works, but it's not like optimized where you can have all of them up and have space in the back still, compared to like an Expedition or Suburban is like the full size. So definitely works, but if you're gonna be actually hauling around like 7 people all the time, I would probably try to go for like a Suburban. And I'll fold down this seat real quick to show you guys. And I have to get out. Oh, and there it goes. It's really easy once you just pull the strap and it just pops down right away. So it's pretty good. And we'll show you guys the load floor and all the storage real quick, and the rear liftgate. Okay guys, now we're around the back of the Traverse. As you guys can see, there is a little backup camera up in there. This badge has kind of been marked or whatever, but this is a used car. And when you pop it open, it's an automatic opener. It's pretty nice. Opens pretty decent speed actually, not really too slow or anything. It's pretty nice that it opens by itself. You don't have to you can be carrying something big and just click the button. As you guys can see, we folded the third row back on it. You have a pretty good sized space back here. It's pretty tall. You can kind of sit back here. My head kind of goes under. But if you're a little bit shorter, you can fit under there and sit back here and hang out in the tailgate. Under here, there's tons of storage. This is probably the best part. We have a bunch of gear and stuff under here, but there's a ton of storage down here. And I think this guy has a spare underneath, but I'm not sure. There's lots of space under there, and then you have all these cargo hooks. You get one out, but all these fold out, so if you want to like string a net together or something back here, there's lots of little hooks and mounting points back here to store cargo. But once all these seats are folded down, we fit like doors and stuff. We fit 8 like dining room chairs in here. You can fit a ton of stuff in here. It doesn't look huge from the outside because you get this like more sloping teardrop shape in the back, and not just a huge like box. But there is actually a ton of cargo space back here, which is really nice. And hanging down, this is like the third row seat belt right here. And I'll show you guys the popper. You just click this and it automatically closes as well. Pretty nice feature there. And then we'll move on to the roof rack real quick. The roof rack, you get these kind of perpendicular bars to like the length of the car. And we've loaded 2 kayaks up here before and a bike, and it's been no problem. It does hurt your gas mileage a bit when you have like a bunch of stuff on top, but we've done road trips and stuff with this car with that, and it's worked totally fine. So we'll show up what's under the hood real quick and talk about the powertrain.
Alright guys, so we're gonna pop the hood real quick.
It's just a little popper, very easy to find on that driver's side standard spot. I'll show you. It's kind of tough to pop it. There we go. You actually push this little thing it's like in this kind of divot here, and you push it to this side quite a bit. And once you pop it, as you guys can see, you can't really see anything because this is huge plastic bra here, and you can't even barely even see the motor. As you guys can see, this is a big old beauty cover on here. You can't even like see the heads. I mean, it's like way down in there. It's kind of odd, but this is a 3.6 V6. It makes 288 horsepower at 6,300 RPM, and then this thing makes 270 foot-pounds of torque. So it's definitely not a big powertrain, especially for a car this size. The thing weighs just under 5,000 pounds, but this thing is all-wheel drive, and we've driven it in the snow, and it actually does pretty good.
It's kind of odd. It only has one hood strut.
Yeah, it has one central hood strut. It's kind of odd, and then you get like a negative ground right here for the battery thing, and this is all the fuses are in here, and it's just really super covered up under here. It's kind of odd. It's different. It's kind of hard to work on. You have to take all this plastic off. Not really much to look at under there, but we're gonna drive it. Okay guys, now we're gonna drive it. Now we're back in the Traverse real quick, and just want to mention that the e-brake is a foot e-brake down in the well. You definitely can't see it from there, but you just pop it with your foot. It's like any other foot e-brake that you've used, not a center one. And the shifter works pretty good, and we'll start driving. And I forgot to mention that there is a few more charge ports up here, and the backup camera, I'll show you guys. Just put it in reverse and we'll show you guys the resolution. It's a pretty good backup camera, especially for 2015. It definitely helps quite a bit, especially for a car this big. And we'll start going here. Like I said, this is a transverse mounted, it's front wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system. I don't think it's all the time all-wheel drive. But the gauges are pretty good. There's a little tire pressure monitor light, and this thing needs an oil change, but you get a battery gauge, you get a temp gauge, you get a center fuel gauge, and then you get a tach, and then a speedo, but the tach doesn't even show your red line. But obviously, I mean, it's automatic transmission, you don't really need it. You don't even really need a tach for automatic transmission. But for the transmission, as far as it goes, it's a 6-speed automatic. You get park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then low for if, I guess, you're trying to tow something up a hill or something, you got a heavy load, or you're just trying to get out of some mud or something. Ground clearance, I'm not sure. Oh shit, drove the wrong way. Now we're just driving around the parking lot here. But ground clearance, I'm not sure how good it is, like the number, how many inches, but it has that front plastic valance in the rear one as well, so it's definitely a little lower than something like it looks a little lower than something like an Explorer, but I would say that's the direct competitor to this, is an Explorer. And I actually have driven, I didn't drive in it, but I actually rode in like a brand new limited one or platinum, with the V6, and that one's all-wheel drive, but it's longitudinally mounted, so it's like rear-wheel drive biased. And actually we had it in 2-wheel drive mode, like rear-wheel drive, and it actually drove through the snow. It was last year, actually, just this time, and it actually drove through the snow totally fine. So I mean, this one has all-wheel drive. The Explorer got through the snow with 2-wheel drive, but we had to use the all-wheel drive a little bit, I think, and that one was definitely faster. That Explorer, I think it had the twin turbo V6, the 3-liter, not a 3.5. EcoBoost engine, and that was pretty fast, but that was a bit newer one. That was like a 2020, and it was similar comfort to this one, but I think this one actually is a little more roomier on the inside than an Explorer, it feels like. As far as how this thing rides, it's super smooth, very smooth, rides great. The road noise is very limited. The power steering is really uber boosted. I'm not sure if it's electric or it's hydraulic. Could be either, but it's definitely really over boosted, and with this big wheel it's very easy to turn and stuff. The transmission is pretty smooth. It doesn't, if you floor it, it does take a second to kick down. It's definitely not a very sporty transmission, and you don't have any like paddles, obviously. But driving it is pretty nice. This thing is definitely really good on the highway. Fuel economy, we get like 18 city, and then it actually, even with like 4 or 5 people in here and like stuff in here. We got like 24 on the highway, so it gets pretty good highway mileage for kind of a full-size rig. I would say it's pretty optimized for maybe a family of 4 because you have those captain chairs, and then somebody doesn't have to sit in the 3rd row, and then you can put like baby seat in the 2nd row. But we've definitely put a ton of gear in here. We've filled it to the brim with like camping gear. My family has towed with this. We've towed U-Haul trailers and I think another small little trailer before, and it actually does tow. We've never towed a car or anything really like pushed its limits, but this thing tows pretty good, especially for a front-wheel drive platform. Once we go, I'll show you guys how fast the 288 horsepower is. The body roll really isn't that bad for such a big vehicle, and the visibility is really good. You do sit pretty high, and it gets up to speed totally fine, but it does kind of dog out when you really floor it. You don't get really much top-end power. But overall, the car is really, actually, I would say very pleasant to drive. It's definitely not an exciting experience, but you have the heated steering wheel, you have the cooled seats, heated seats. Overall, it's very comfortable in here. It's nice to look at with all this kind of sort of fancy trim. And really, other than the fact that it doesn't have a ton of ground clearance, I think this thing is totally on par with something like a Ford Explorer. I'm not sure what the other competitors would be. I know like Toyota Highlander has 3 rows, but that's only 6 seats.
It'd be like, actually no, those have 7. But
yours has 7?
And you could also get one that's 8. This would be comparable to a Toyota RAV4 or a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
What are you talking about? RAV4s don't have 3 rows.
Oh.
Yeah,
it'd be a
Highlander.
Highlander. Yeah, it'd be comparable to a Highlander, which you can also get captain seats in.
This is comparable to a Durango because Durangos have 3rd rows. Cherokees, I don't think have 3rd rows, and a Highlander and an Explorer. And I would say, out of those, I mean, I've ridden in a Highlander. It was pretty good. I would say I actually like this the best, only other than the Explorer. I've never ridden in a Durango. I know Durangos are kind of bigger and bloated, and you can get those with like V8s, which is cooler. You can get like an SRT one, and then you can obviously get one with a Hellcat motor. And this one is totally different. I'm not sure about the Highlander, if it's transverse mounted or
it's transverse mounted.
So yeah, this is closest I would say to the Highlander, and then the Explorer, and then the Durango is kind of straying the farthest from that. But it doesn't really line up with any of like the higher luxury brands because those are all a little bit bigger, like the X7 and the GLS and stuff, and it's also like way more expensive. This nowadays, well, we got this car for $20,000 in 2018, I want to say, and this thing's only 3 years old. I think that was actually like pretty good for a car that I think this costs right around a little over $40,000. This LTZ. I'm probably wrong on that, but I know the base LS started around $30,000, $30,000 to $33,000, depending on options. So it goes up from there on these, but I don't know how much these are worth now. I haven't checked or anything, but I would say these are pretty good values. I know that Explorers aren't like super, they don't like hold their value like crazy or anything. I mean, really the only SUVs that hold their value like super good are the really big ones, and that are like kind of rare and not many people buy them. And then also like 4Runners and stuff, which I don't know. Do you think? I don't know if 4Runners have 3rd rows, but a 4Runners is totally different.
They do.
It's a truck, yeah. So, but it's a truck. It's like a body on frame platform instead of a unibody, and those are like more off-roader focused. And you also don't get as good like gas mileage, and they drive like a truck. But as far as the segment that this thing is in, this thing is really nice. I was actually super surprised at how nice it was when my parents brought it home, and my mom really likes it, and it has like all the bells and whistles. I mean, couldn't imagine you really need any more features, and the fact that you can get it for Chevy pricing, and you don't have to pay like Cadillac pricing for something like this is pretty nice. And I would say if you were looking in the market, I wouldn't be really afraid of buying one of these, because this thing drives very nice, and it definitely is a really awesome family hauler. I would just probably look at the Explorer if you could find an Explorer with like I mean, there's like an Explorer ST, but that's kind of in a different bracket and those are more expensive. But I know the Explorers are faster and stuff, but really that's the only real difference that I noticed. They're similar in comfort. So I would definitely recommend buying one of these if you're looking for one. And please like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll have more car reviews coming out soon. See ya.